Hello, this is my reflection on the readings for the second of Sunday of Advent. It's a reflection on waiting. As you may know, I walk our dogs every day. I have the morning shift. We walk along the beach towards the off-leash area. Quite often I meet other dog owners and I've come to know some of them. As the dogs rush about, we chat. Megan, and this is not her real name, Megan, who has a shepherd, is a mum, a bit younger than me. She and I often chat for a while. She's very aware of Christmas right now. Her kids away come home for Christmas. One is away locally, not very far away in Ontario, and the other one is in BC working. He sets up internet accessibilities in small communities and stays in them while he works, often out of touch for a while, and then he calls home. Her worry and her hope are all the same thing. Will Jake be home for Christmas? Will he come home for Christmas? In the darkening days of December, in the cold that keeps us indoors, in the fear of falling on ice and breaking something, she will wait. In the hope of a gathered family, in memory of candles on the table, sparkling eyes across plates of food, small gifts carefully hunted out in thrift shops, Megan imposes a spending limit. All things prettily wrapped, and they will be waiting under the 26-year-old, rather the worse for wear, silver 3-foot-high Christmas tree that's in the corner of their sitting room. But will he come home for Christmas? Megan has the menu planned in her head. She knows each person's favourites. She has some wine laid in and some beer for Jake and scotch for late at night. They always sing Silent Night and Away in a Manger. The voices mingle and they all know the harmonies by heart. Christmas is a well-formed tradition and all the parts are required. But will he come home for Christmas? COVID has blocked so much of the normal of Christmas. COVID seems like a mist that has become a cloud, and now the cloud is darkening and dropping lower as Christmas seems in sight. Flying might be forbidden. Landing might not be allowed. Megan is beginning to nearly give up hope. The readings of the Advent theme as a whole seem oddly present in Megan's conversations. Where there should be joyful expectation, there's doubt, anxiety, and hope. But the hope is thinning out. Advent is about things coming towards us. However, COVID has focused us more on what may not be able to come. Christmas family gatherings are in the zone of maybe, but I'm beginning to doubt it. Throughout most of Jewish history that brought us the Hebrew Scriptures, what we call the Old Testament, there are longings for the intimacy with God that the creation stories tell. God strolling in the garden in Eden, at the time of the evening breeze, just dropping by for a chat with Eve or with Adam. God speaking to the prophets, carving sheets of stone with words of guidance, reaching out in rescue. And the decades went by, and God seemed distant. Great powers invaded, and Rome's brutalizing empire dwarfed God's holy nation with military and political control that overpowered. For Judaism, it is Passover, not Christmas. Scattered families would make their way home. Lamb, flatbread, bitter herbs, dark, rich red wine like blood. Prayers and songs and rituals too old to trace back. And for the men who left home to work, every mother wondered, will he come for Passover? Isaiah promised a great big road, flat and easy, crossing the wilderness. But he also knew that we might not be able to travel, even on that. He knew that our lives can end suddenly. Illness, violence, war, slavery. We are like grass, so uncertain of our destinies. We're never sure. We think we have our feet on solid ground, that we are in control of our destinies, that we can plan with certainty who will come for supper. But will he come for supper? I'm maybe a bad priest to say this, but we have been waiting for over 2,000 years for the imminent second coming, and year after year it hasn't happened. I think this is not an actual event that will be recorded as one of a progression of actual events, like the election of prime ministers. The second coming of Christ is a truth that is both individual and collective. Listen to what Isaiah says. A voice says, "Cry out." And I said, "What shall I cry?" All people are grass. Their constancy is like the flower of the field. The grass withers, the flower fades, when the breath of the Lord blows upon it. Surely the people are grass. The grass withers, the flower fades, but the word of the Lord will stand forever. For you and for me, there have been times when we have blossomed, been great, had our moments of glory and even a little fame. But then it moves into part of the story, then into the dimming memory, and then it will all be gone. But for Isaiah, that is simply the truth. We have our times of full and glorious growth, times when we have been the flower that caught everyone's attention. And then it is someone else's turn, and we become part of the audience, not the singer on the stage. Another voice rises there. Isaiah teaches that all this is okay, provided that we remember that the constant, the thing that undergirds it and holds it all together, is the love of our God. God loving you as a wet, helpless, squealing baby, sulking teenager, dramatic youth, tremblingly withdrawn as an adolescent, bright as an employee in first job, or maybe a lousy cook, and so on. The trajectory of our lives, we know ourselves to be just about making it or faking it, and sometimes really acing it. This is Advent, the time of preparation for the coming of the Lord. Don't look down the long road that leads into town for an oncoming vehicle. Don't dress up and wait by the door. Don't even ask, will he come? The one who will right all wrongs and rearrange the world, will he come? He is here already. Will he come, Megan's son? Will he jump out of an Uber cab with gifts in his arms? Maybe. Quite possibly not. But he's here already. He is here because Megan has never been without her love for him, never stopped holding him, his presence just at the horizon of her daily life, never stopped carrying him in her heart. And although I have never asked, I think he has been first on the list of people she holds up to God each morning and each evening. Will Jesus come? Yes. And he came to you in baptism, perhaps when you were a child or a young adult or an old person. He comes to you in chance conversation, in something that moved your heart and spoke into your soul of the love God holds you in, and always has and always will. He came when love cracked open your heart, love even for a furry tail wagging dog, and more deeply for another child of God who caught your heart and holds it still. Advent. The question is never really, will she come? Will he come? The question is, will I be paying enough attention to greet him with kisses and fresh bread, old wine and gathered loaves? And if you can answer yes, then he has already come. I wish you a deep and joyful Advent.